Okay, in this video I'm going to explain to you about function which involves a composite function, inverse function, and also partial revision for function chapters. Okay, to make it simple, function you just have to remember here we have x and here we have x. So whatever that you have substitute to the x over here, any changes, you have to make it the same as here. Example, here you substitute with x minus 3. So you have to do the same thing for here, which is 2 bracket x minus 3 minus with 5. Okay, to simplify this, you just have to expand and simplify. Okay, now if let's say there is a value here, so x is 5. Okay, so x, the value of x is 5. So you just have to substitute. So here you'll be getting 5, and then the x will become, so it's become 2 multiplied with 5 minus with 5. So you got here about 10 minus 5, and your answer here will be 5. Okay, same thing for this question. Now the x is having a value of negative 3. So you just have to substitute here negative 3, and here we have a negative 5 plus with 7 multiply with negative 3, and then we just have to simplify this. So positive 7 multiply with negative 3, you got there about negative 21 equals to, and then here we have here about negative 26. Okay, so this is just a substitution. Okay, this is your level 1 function. Okay, now we have here level 2. This is a composite function where we are going to substitute one function into another function. Okay, now let us take a look with the first question, a g f x. So we make it a bracket here. Okay, we place a bracket. Okay, the first thing is what is your fx? Your fx is 2x minus 5. So we just substitute this 2x minus 5. Now we just have to substitute. This is a function of g. So g, take a look at this. Whatever that you have a changes over here, you have to substitute the same at here, right? So we just have to take this and substitute over here. So which means that you are getting here negative 5 plus 7 bracket 2x minus 5. So we just simplify this and multiply it back. So we got here about 14x, and here we have about negative 35. So which is can be simplified as 14x minus 40. Okay, so this is your answer for gfx. Okay, now let us go to the next question, b fgx. So the same thing over here is we're going to put a bracket. Okay, now the first question, what is your gx? Gx is this negative 5 plus 7x. Substitute it inside. Negative 5 plus 7x. Okay, now you have to take this and substitute into this function, which is f. So we have to replace it over here. So you go 2 bracket negative 5 plus 2x, and don't forget the negative 5 here. Okay, and then we just have to simplify this. So we got here negative 10, 14x, and minus 5. So here we have 14x and minus 15. Okay, so this is your answer for fgx. So this is a level 2 composite function. Okay, now we have a level 3 inverse function. Okay, inverse function. So let's say we have here fx. The inverse of fx, you will have the f power of negative 1. This is, we call it as an inverse. Okay, how do we inverse a function? Now we have to take the whole thing here. and make it y as subject. Y equals to the whole thing. Okay, now you can see y is as a subject now. So now make your x as your subject. Make x as your subject. So here we just have to move the 5. Now you have that 2x. So here we goes. The 2 will move there. It becomes over 2. Okay, so after you have made the x as your subject, so now we just have to place f negative 1x, and this is your answer. But the only changes you have to do is change the y into x. So it will be x plus with 5 over 2. So this is your inverse function. Okay, so let me repeat again with this question. Take the whole thing, make it y equals to negative 5 plus 7x. Now make the x as your subject. So you have y plus 5 over 7. Okay, so you already inverse. Now we copy this, make the y as your subject now. So it becomes x, change the y here into x. So x plus 5 over 7. So this is your inverse function for gx. Okay, this is level number 3. Okay, now let us go to the a bit harder version of inversing a function. So same thing, make the whole thing equals to y 3x plus 1. Now we make the x as your subject. So the whole thing we multiply it here. So we got 3xy plus y. So our next step here is make the x as your subject. So whatever that is not relevant, okay, the x we gather at one place. So the y will move there. Okay, now we can factorize the x here. Okay, now you can see this is a multiply now. Take the whole thing, you move it there. So you have x equals to negative 5 minus y over 3y over 2. Okay, if you don't like the answer over here, what we can do, multiply both with the negative sign. So you have 5 plus y over 2 minus 3y. Okay, so you have already made your x as your subject. Now we just have to write down the answers. So the final step, please remember, change the y into x. So you got 5 plus x over 2 minus 3x. So this is your answer. Okay, this is a bit different of a composite function type. Okay, now they have a f and g. Okay, and then here we have only the f. So now they're asking us to find the g. So in this case, what we can do here is, so we substitute first the gx. Okay, we just substitute as a gx to the single f. So now we have gx over here. Okay, now both of this is the same. Now we can compare. So we can compare in this way. Equals to 2x minus 5. Now we just have to make the gx as a subject. So this one, we move it there. It become plus. And then we divide it by 7. So that is your gx. So you have your answer as 2x over 7. Okay, now this is the second type of question where you have a f and gx but here you have the gx. Okay, now they're asking us to find the f. So what we have to do now, first step is we have to inverse this. Okay, so we inverse this. So now we have this as your answer, inverse of g. So here we have x plus 5 over 7. Then we take this answer and substitute into here. Okay, so you have fx. So remember to substitute this over 7 and minus 5. So we got here 2x plus 10 over 7, and here will be over 1, multiply with 7, and here we have about 35 over 7. So your final answer for this, you have 2x minus 25 over 7. That is your fx. Okay guys, so this is the basic for the functions. Okay, so we have level 1 to 4. So now we are going to focus on the past year questions. Okay, now this is the past year questions. So here if A is find f is the x is 2. Okay, the x is 2. So we just have to take the 2, substitute over here to this fx. So you'll be getting 2, the x will become 2. Okay, substitute it here, minus 1. So you got here about 4 minus 1, which is equals to 3. Okay, now for this part, okay, since you already have the value, okay, you already have the value, so which is the value of f2 is 3, right? So we just have to replace it. G is 3. So G, we replace it over here. Substitute the x with 3. Okay, so the 3 value will goes over here. So you have there G3 is 3 bracket multiply with 3 and minus with 2. So you got there 9 minus 2, which is about 7. Okay, now look at the B question. So here we have inverse of G. So y equals to 3x minus 2. So make the x as your subject. So now we have the inverse of G, which is x plus 2 over 3. So this is your answer here. Okay, now the next one for C. Find hx equals to j negative 2. Okay, now what is your hx? Hx is this. So let me just write it down here first. Equals to j negative 2. So hx is 1 over x and j negative 2. So you have here 5 square. So it becomes 5. So the 5x here, the x will become power of negative 2. Okay, now let's solve this. So here you'll be having, this is 1 over 5 square. This is 1 over x. Okay, so we can just invert the whole thing up and down. So you have x equals to 5 square, which means you got there about 25. So this is your answer. Okay, so now next let us move with this one. Okay, write fx minus hx as a single fraction. So what is your hx is 1 over, this is a 1 over x, and what is your x f? So here you have there about 2x minus 1. So here will be 2x minus 1. Okay, here will be over 1. They ask us to write in a single fraction. So what we can do here, multiply this part with x and x. So it will be over x. Here you have this. Now we just have to simplify this. 2x squared minus x minus 1 over x. Okay, so this is your answer. Okay, this is another partial questions for function. So A, find g, so x is 1 over 2. So we just have to replace this g. So here you have x divided by 1 over 2. So here many students make a mistake, so be careful with this. This line, it means it's divide, which we can rewrite it as this. Okay, so when we change it to multiply, it becomes 2 over 1. Okay, it will be inverted. So we just have to solve this in a fraction form, so which means you got there about 4 over 1 equals to 4. Okay, now after we have find this answer here, now look at this. So here we can separate this. So this part here we have there about 4. So what is your h? H is this, hx. So we just have to substitute this x with 4. So we got your answer about here about 16. Okay, now find x when fx is equal to 7. So we just have to make it as an equation. What is your fx? 10 minus x equals to 7. 7 you move there, and x you move here, make it positive. So this is 3. So x here will be equals to 3. Okay, now next one. C. Find x when gx. What is your gx? Gx here I got here about 2 over x. So this is a 2 over x equals to, what is your h? H is this. Okay, so 2 power of x. So here we got 2 power of x. So the x is 3. So we put here 3. Okay, so now we have this is equals to 8. So now we just switch it. So it becomes 2 over 8 equals to x. So now here you got x is equals to 1 over 4. Okay, now over here. So find the inverse of this, of j. So j you have this 5 negative 2x. So jx is 5 minus 2x. So let me check it again. 5 minus 2x. Okay, you got it here. Now make it equals to y and make x as your subject. So this one we multiply it with negative. Okay, so we make it into positive. So the 2 will move there, it becomes over 2. So here the whole thing we change it into we change the y into x. So we have here about 5 minus x over 2. Okay, that's your answer here. Now write fx gx plus with 1 as a single fraction. So let me write it down. Fx and gx is 10 minus 1 and 2 over x. So here we got 10 minus x plus with 2 over x plus with 1 as a single fraction. Okay, as a single fraction. So we can change, we can make it into over x, or we can make it together over 1 and over 1. So each we multiply with x. So here we have x. So the first one is x bracket 10 minus x. This is remain as usual. This is 2. And this one here we have x. So now we just have to expand this. So you got here about 10x minus x squared. This is plus 2 plus x over x. So if you simplify this, you got negative x square. Here we have 2x, so we have here about 11x plus 2 over x. So this is your answer for this question. Okay, so I hope you learn your understanding in function for mathematics paper IGCSE is better. So you can continue to watch the next chapter.